Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns and watch my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is part of my ongoing anthology living campaign, Star Wars Saturdays. It's a whole lot of words, but the brief version is that since 2017, I have been running a ongoing Saturdays game where almost every Saturday, like 42 to 50 Saturdays out of the year, I'll post up a game on each month. I'll post up a new game for the Gauntlet community, which is this amazing community of indie and OSR tabletop role-playing game friends and fans. And then the RSVP happens and new folks will come in. We create characters within that particular RPG system and tell a story. And sometimes we have characters that reoccur. We've got a couple of reoccurring characters in this particular series, but often we'll have brand new characters. We mix and match them all together. We've got folks who are big Star Wars heads like Will and Cody, or just like they have more ken about such things than I, more than me. And then others who've just seen the original trilogy, and it's totally cool. It's this awesome melting pot of space fantasy that we mix up together. The timeline for the game series that I run is always run through the movies. We started with the original trilogy. We're now on the far side, not the Gary Larson comic, but on the far side of Palpatine dying. And we're not quite up to Mandalorian time. So we're somewhere in that middle space. It's supposedly, oh God, this is super geeky, but like I've started down the road. I'm going to finish it off as a short road. Supposedly Mandalorian's like 5 years after Palpatine's dead. Is what I've heard. I don't know. It's space time. Doesn't really matter. We're sometime between there in that nebulous space. The Empire is falling. Palpatine's dead, but Coruscant hasn't fallen yet because I've got to run Coruscant Comrades next month. So, probably somewhere around there. Maybe not. We'll see. Play to find out. But so there are Imperial strongholds throughout the galaxy, but generally the New Republic's taking control. The New Republic is the big dog right now. This game is Bounty of the Week, which is a game of Monster of the Week, hacked for Star Wars, heavily influenced by the Mandalorian series. What's that? That's the series on Disney Plus. If you haven't heard of it, Baby Yoda thing, there you go. And we are 3 sessions in. Generally centering around this place. Oh, nice. I love that mug. This place called the Minos Cluster, which I love mostly because there was this West End Games D6 Star Wars supplement with called Trent Freighters with all kinds of stuff. And just means that Rich has a map and things they can look up, but I have Wikipedia. But God, just leave me to my things that I love. We are, again, 3 sessions in. You guys are chasing after some Rhodians who aren't that nice. And one of them you've already captured, the other you're on your way. You're currently in a place called Cheshire Isle, which is a gas giant in the Minos cluster. It's a solar system with a bunch of moons around a primary gas giant. And you're on one of the moons, which is literally a garbage planet. Like it's been a dumping ground for millennia, and it's pretty nasty. But evidently people go there who are running away from bounties. I don't know. Let's go around the horn and do some introductions. But first, let me remind you, we do have safety tools. On one of the tabs on our character keeper, which is a Google spreadsheet, we have a lines and veils tab. We have lines. These are content that we're not interested in exploring in Bounty of the Week, and I will avoid it, and I trust you guys to do the same. Lines are against sexual assault, sexual violence, harm to children, and homophobia. And we have veils, which is we're okay if this exists. We just don't want to shine a light on it. It's one of those like we'll do a quick screen wipe or fade to black, whatever. The veils are on sexual content. So if 2 people consensually hook up, then we'll fade to black with a little bit of like, soft sax music or whatever. Still fade to black. Suicide, harm to animals, and torture. On top of that, we have the X card. So that's the Trump card, and I say Trump in a good way, in that we maybe didn't realize that we were going to get into X or Y thing, and we're not interested in that. So you just say, hey, I need X card, so-and-so. We'll stop, just pause, I'll check in with you to make sure I understand what it is. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to tell me a life story. It's okay. It's just content you don't want to deal with. You don't have to defend it. I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. I promise. We'll excise it from our play and move on. I've never had an X card played on me that did not contribute well to the story. It's never been a roadblock or a block or two, whatever. Any canon that we have, we will change it to make sure that everybody's having a good time. And then the last thing I'll say about the X card that I experienced is, if you think something's going to be like a thing, if something starts to bother you and you're like, I think I can let this go. It's cool. It's just this one thing. And all of a sudden we keep bringing up and you're like, oh, okay, this is totally harsh on my buzz. You can still X card it, right? We'll retcon. If Comics can do it, we can do it. Even if Comics couldn't do it, we can do it. So don't worry about that. Done with all the safety tool stuff. So let's go around the horn with the established hunters that we have. Unfortunately, David was not able to join us for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to do a quick juggle here. We'll bring John in. John's amazing. I'm really looking forward to playing with him and bring him into Star Wars Saturday. So welcome, John. But let's go around the horn. Let's go from left to right on our character keeper. We'll start with Will. If you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your character.
Hi, my name is Will. I have nothing to plug. I just play with the gauntlet. My pronouns are he, him, and so are those of Kel Trazik, my veteran, who used to be the trainee back when we first played Bounty of the Week, way back when. I think just after the Battle of Yavin. But it's been a long and bloody and tiring civil war for Kel, and now he's kind of a sleeper agent for New Republic intelligence, back with the bounty hunters. Nobody else knows this. I think maybe the only person who would know has left the ship in this session. So, yeah.
I love how remembering bushy-tailed, bright-eyed Kel from back the first time that we played Bounty of the Week, and now you're just so salty.
Remember, I tried to stun everybody as well. It didn't work, and I had to kill them, and now I'm just blowing away like whole crews of Rhodians.
Crazy. It's crazy. So good. Love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Will. Next up is Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg Gelder. He, him pronouns for me. He, him pronouns for Zop Books. Zop is a returning character from a game of, oh gosh.
Hack in the Black and other stuff too.
Zop is the Knight, which is pseudo the Mandalorian playbook, but Zop is not a Mandalorian. Zop belongs to an ancient Rhodian hunters guild, the Tanhua clan. And last episode, they had him kill somebody in a holosuite. Didn't tell him why. The kill did say, you don't see the whole picture. Zop didn't care. Got in a real pickle, nearly died. Let's see. Totally has gained a new enemy in the person he killed's daughter. And then interrogated the one person we did capture. We did capture Nikoob
Ravine.
Nikoob, Rhodians. Nikoob, yeah. So we did capture Nikoob, and then the droids. And I'm sure Zop's sect is like totally okay with how he just killed somebody in the open, and it won't get him in trouble at all.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Greg. And then welcome back. Josh had lost power during this month has been the worst for power. So Josh, thank you. So glad you could rejoin us. If you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yeah, of course. I'm Josh Horowitz. I use he, him pronouns. I don't really have anything to plug because I was paid in advance and I'm not getting royalties for this. But if you want, you can check out a mystery I wrote for Brindlewood Bay in Codex Leviathan. It's called A Night at the Whaling Museum. I believe there is a preposition at the start, not sure which one. It is a mystery for Brindlewood Bay. It takes place in a small town 19th century whaling museum where a murder takes place, and you have to go, and there's some spooky stuff. You can interact with some wonderful artifacts of history and characters based off of a book I read last summer about whaling, which was very interesting. The wreck of the whale ship Essex, which is what Moby Dick is based off of, which I just found to be a very interesting read and inspired the mystery. So you can find that again in Codex Leviathan. And I am playing in this D0R13, who is an emancipated droid. I have no master, although I do have ties to a droid emancipationist group and to the Rhodian clan, whom I am seen as a sort of chosen one by. And I am looking forward to the session. D0R13 uses they them pronouns because they are a droid and they do not have a biological gender or an identity in that way.
Fantastic. Thank you, Josh. And last but certainly not least, John, welcome. Introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello, everyone. I'm John. I use he, him pronouns. Happy to be joining the group. I'm going to be playing Tutu Bior. Tutu is the trainee, and so he's very green to bounty hunting. But you may recognize the Bior name from his father, Rasha Bior, a well-known actor and famous throughout the galaxy for some of his films and portrayals and performances. And so Tutu has grown up in a life of never caring or wanting for anything. It's just been provided. And, one day caught a fancy that maybe this bounty hunting would be a good change of pace and something of excitement. And so, of course, went out and bought some hunting rifles and blaster pistols and, all the gear he needed. And, all those rules about how to get into the guild, well, that was easy enough. You just throw some money down and, well, now you're a guild member. What could go wrong?
That's awesome. Oh, this is so good. I'm really excited about this. What a great story. All right, so we have some history to work out between folks. Let's go down the list. So we'll circle back around to Kel. Do you have any particular history that you find interesting to add to Tutu? Is it Tutu Bor? Say it again. I want to make sure.
Tutu Bior.
Bior. That's okay. I can totally remember that.
Tutu Bior. No, I don't think any of them really match up with the trainee really on the veterans list particularly well, because they're all kind of like it's somebody experienced and shit hot kind of stuff,
Sweet. So then I think obviously then it would be like the guild has asked you to take Tutu under your wing. That's the history, right?
Well,
because you're the veteran.
That's how I got here, right? I was once a trainee and now I'm now I'm the veteran.
There we go. Perfect. What about Zop?
So I think Zop is a little starstruck because I think Rasha Bior probably participated in a Rhodian opera, which is something Zop
I was so hoping you go there. Yes.
So if you're okay with your father having participated in a Rhodian opera despite being a Twi'lek, then yeah, I think Zop is starstruck that one of the Bior is here and doesn't exactly know how to handle it.
I love it.
That's great. Fantastic. What about D0R13?
Yeah, looking down the list. How long would you say that Tutu has been in the guild? Trainee, obviously, like new, but like how new would you say?
I picture that this is probably the first legitimate, job with some real level of danger that Tutu's been sent out on.
Okay,
or been able to get onto.
I see.
Ooh, that is new.
Let's say well, okay, I'll offer you this one. Do you want to have seen me lose control and go on a rampage?
I would love to have seen that.
All right. I'll tell you what triggered it, and the answer is that I saw a couple of totally functional droids still on, being scrapped for parts in a market. You know, I was making my way through here. I was going to go collect a bounty, and this droid merchant was, you know, ripping the arm off this droid who's still had the indicator lights on. Awful. And you have to tell me what I did.
I'm so sorry. I got momentarily distracted. So you saw functional droids in a marketplace being like stripped and sold for parts,
Yeah.
and I tell you what you did.
Yes.
I think you. I mean, you tore the market area apart. You know, flipping tables. Probably punched out a person or two, and you know, freed what you could of the droids. You know, I think some droids scurried away, missing a few parts, but they were able to get out and get away.
Nice. I like that. That's a cool and dark history. Let's stick that somewhere. Maybe somewhere here in the Minos cluster. We've already got some good heat going on in Adelon, so maybe this was in one of the space stations in orbit over Purgator. That seems like a pretty cruel place that would mistreat droids. Yeah. So that's where D0R13 had a rampage in a marketplace in one of the temple stations, as they're called. Everything has like churchy, like there's sales priests and temple stations, and everything is a little on the religious side, a lot on the religious side for Purgator. Good. That's lovely. So, Tutu, you have some stuff to pass back over. Do you have any histories you want to work out with the other group, the other members of the group?
Yeah. How do you want to do this? Should I do one for each person, or
If you've got one that you think that you like for each person, that would be fantastic.
okay? So I like this one of they introduced you to the life of bounty hunting. Tell them how you feel about that, and I think that fits with what we've probably said initially about Kel. So what do you think, Kel? Maybe like by introduced, right? Like I'm picturing that as like Tutu has already had this desire to get into it, and so yeah, you kind of got assigned Tutu as like, okay, you got to show the rookie, and so you've been like showing Tutu the real ropes of the bounty hunting life.
Yeah, sounds good to me. How do you feel about that?
Oh, Tutu is eating it up,
Okay.
and wants and I think the other thing is that he like at the weirdest moments probably pitches like this could be a great TV show. Just picture it, bounty hunters.
Life ain't a Hollywood, kid.
Uh,
I think so. You're kind of not quite how Cal was when he was a trainee. He was like, you know, doing good and stopping bad guys. The bounty hunters guild's there. You're more like kind of like, isn't this exciting and amazing? Like, wouldn't it make good TV?
yeah, exactly.
Nice. I love that.
Let me add that real quick to my space. So I introduced you to the life of bounty hunting. Two. Very excited. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have here? Bum, bum, bum. How about for Zop? What do you think of Good Friends? It says Good Friends. Tell them if it's from way back or recently. I think probably recently.
Okay.
But Good Friends, like you're a fan of my father, so
Yes, I am that.
Always happy to talk about his works. And we seem to have a shared love of opera. So
Excellent. There's many fans of Rhodian opera across the galaxy, and I love it. Yeah.
And then D0R13. I think for D0R13, I'm going to go with, I'm a bit suspicious of them. And then there's not actually anything else here that really says like how to flesh it out, but I think it's because I'm not used to a free droid. I think I grew up in a household and family that had lots of droids, but they all served a purpose. They were I don't understand. I don't really get you.
Maybe your dad like wiped the droids regularly so they didn't develop all those personality tics and things, But,
Somebody did.
yeah.
All I know is, droids were there to get me breakfast and the things I needed. They didn't have opinions.
And this droid's not only has opinions, but like violent opinions about fellow kind. Nice. That is a nice bit of trouble. I love it. Are you okay with that, Josh?
Yeah, of course. They just expanded the Galactic Republican war crimes trial to include droid individuals, then your father would be real big trouble.
Can't do that. Sweet. So here is like as we pick up, we actually pick up on 2-2. You're on so you tell me, did you hop on as a passenger onto a starfighter that brought you to Cheshire, or did you get a loaner and you actually show up here flying a totally cool, I don't know, like an A-wing? I mean, I think Tutu's kind of an A-wing kind of guy.
Yeah.
My Tutu in the crates.
I like the sound of that. Let's go with that.
Sweet. So you like pop out of Lightspeed. You had received from the guild that your assigned team, your first team, right, had been that they were at Cheshire 6, that they were chasing a pair of bounties. So you've received the information. And if you check in the NPCs tab, Nakub, Revan, and Nakond Tetsu, all on row 2 of the NPCs, are the 2 bounties that you are pursuing for Corazon Industries. So if you see the Jinsi Vuktu was the person that hired these guys for their bounty. Corazon Industries has hired for the return of Nakuba, even Nakon Tetsu. And then on top of take these bounties, there were some droids that were part of the theft that the Rhodian ship known as the Unta Gunta is who they are. They're part of the crew of the Unta Gunta, and the Unta Gunta had hit a Corazon Industries freighter, robbed it. So these guys are wanted for piratical activities. And so I don't know, Kel the veteran, have you reported back that you guys have Nakub, or are you just busy about getting the job done and you're not reporting back to the guild until
busy?
Cool.
Busy.
So as far as you know, they came here seeking those bounties, and And yeah, so as you come out of hyperspace, you're like,
you know we did come back and we told them where we were going, and that's why Tutu's here, right? Like, let's not add layers of complexity to this. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. I like that. So yeah, you've heard that they are headed down to the surface of Cheshire 6. You also, as your astromech droid, you got a cool little like R2E unit that's attached to the A-wing. It does most of the flying. I mean, honestly, like you could just kind of hang out, drink some like coffee and stuff, and like space coffee, you'd be good. But you know, it's fun. It's fun to like feel like you're flying. But it basically hits the data streams to the local space station, and you receive an alert for a Rhodian that and at first you think maybe it's these guys like that you're chasing after, but no, it looks like from the side it's like a perfect shot, but it looks a little bit like Sop is wanted on this particular space station for like murder or something. I don't know. It's interesting that it comes through.
The name is different.
Do what? You're muted.
He used a different name, remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
that's right.
sorry,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. It was what was the name? It was
It's
Finst
Urte.
Urte. Finst
Yeah.
Urte. Yeah. So it looks like Sop, but it's Finst Urte is who they're after. Thank you for that reminder. That's fantastic, and delights me to no end. So Finst Urte, who happens to look like Sop Books, probably some kind of good disguise kit. It's going on there, and then boom! Sure enough, you see the Wraith, which is the ship. There's a tab there with the look of the Wraith. If you go down to like row 47, the 42 to 47 around there, you can see a picture of what she looks like. It is heading down into atmosphere. You also see that it is heading down into atmosphere, but you see that the Unta Gunta is prowling around the space station at this point. The Unta Gunta is on the, I believe it was, I stuck a picture of it up on the NPCs tab. It's a Rhodian scavenger ship. It's on column R, but they are not far away, but evidently you're not sure what they're hunting for. But that's the ship that the Nakubreven and Nakan Tetsu came from. It's a lot of information, John, that I just dumped on you. If there are points where you're like, I don't remember X or Y, don't worry about it. We'll just continue going forward. It's all good. So we skip to the moment that we had cliffhangered briefly at the very end of last session, where the Wraith comes into the, if I remember, like goldenrod was the main color that I used for the trash planet here. And there are like, these like oceans of this yellowish goop, and occasionally you'll see these like huge bubbles that will come up and then pop and just splat everything around. And there are the kind of stuff that people can pause the Blu-ray and say, oh my God, is that actually from Battlestar Galactica? But it's like, it's just barely sticking out of the edge here, that kind of stuff. And we see 4 speeder bikes that were at a small kind of floating station where people kind of bring stuff up and out of the goop and the trash and start to try to recondition it. And those 4 speeder bikes evidently got some kind of heads up, because you see they're all Rhodians. You're not sure which one is Nakan, but they take off on their speeder bikes. D0, you're the pilot as of now, but you can change whatever role you want to be. But that's where you were, just so you know where you are in the cockpit right now. Remember, Kel was in the turret, and boom, you guys come through atmosphere as Tutu is. You'll be right behind them, so you can engage them at any moment that you want, Tutu. Especially if you want to look for like a totally inappropriate, poorly timed moment to interrupt. Sounds good to me. So D0, you're the pilot. You see the tracking fob. I'm using the tech from The Mandalorian. It's basically just like a little electronic MacGuffin that allows, it's not even really a MacGuffin, but like magic device that when you're near enough to a quarry will beep up, and it beeps as those, sorry, I hit the mic, 4 speeder bikes take off across the ocean of sludge. So D0, what do you do?
Yeah, so it beeps, and I think I'm gonna hit the accelerator, and I'm gonna set off, like a little. I'll go in the ship loudspeaker, and I'll say, 4 speeders sighted. So over the loudspeaker, it just blares like 4 speeders ahead. Get to stations or whatever, if you are not already in your station.
Nice. Cool. So Zop, you've successfully engaged the stealth systems. You guys escaped the Unta Gunta. Now you're headed after your new quarry, and you're still pretty wounded, if I remember correctly. You're still kind of a little messed up. Kel hasn't come down to medic you up a whole lot yet, so you're still. Oh no,
I'm raggedy.
Where are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, you're ragged.
Okay.
Yeah, little like space blood on the nose kind of thing. All right. So what are you doing, Zop?
I think, if I remember correctly, Kel was looking to sort of do to steal from Firefly, barn swallow kind of thing with his speeder. So I don't know if Zop's necessarily his like co-pilot for the speeder, but Zop might be in the back, like prepping the speeder to drop out and chase them.
Nice. So then, Kel, are you also on speeder? Should we just kind of engage you guys popping out of the Wraith?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. If Zop wants to come along, Kel will just before we drop out, go like stick to the plan this time.
I don't know. It might. I think it might make more sense if you're taking your Wookiee. Oh well, Tutu is in an A-wing, right?
Yeah,
Tutu will.
Okay, right. Tutu's not on the ship, so yeah, Zop will.
Your Wookiee. Oh, that's cute. It's not rookie. You're Wookiee.
Yeah. So Zop will jump in the co-pilot seat and be frustrated with the human controls.
They're so sticky, like your little sticky fingers. It makes it tough. Awesome. The door opens up, and the first thing you guys are hit is this wave of noxious, toxic, horrid stench. D0, you're fine. The other two, it is almost overwhelming. You realize like your eyes.
I say sit spit, and I like pull out my like fumble for my helmet and like clamp it on, and then like little seal engages around it.
Good call. Sweet. Zop, how do you deal with said smell?
Oh, it's a really strange Rhodian rebreather that like goes up the little hole and just has tubes that go into the back of his armor.
Nice. Do you have goggles for your giant eyes?
Yes, giant. Yeah, big circular goggles and this rebreather tube. And I have a robot voice now.
God, that's so good. I want that action figure so bad. Sweet. You just pop out, and D0, you receive on your sensor array that another ship has entered the Atmo near you. And Tutu, you get a suggestion from the astromech. Perhaps you should hail the Wraith.
Yeah, so I'll hail the Wraith. And I think we said like I would have a history with the ship, right, in the crew. So
Absolutely.
Hey there, Wraith. Good to see you again. A little late to the show, but I'm catching up. Hope you haven't had too much fun without me.
Yeah, D0 hails back. He goes, you hear the droid voice back over the other line, and he goes, "Greetings, bounty hunter."
Oh Christ, you're on the comms? I thought Kel was there. Where's Kel at?
Kel is engaging on a speeder bike.
Oh man, we got some high excitement going on. Okay, I'm on my way. I'll be there in 2 parsecs.
As we're as the howling winds are coming through the thing, Kel like taps the side of his thing and listens from the second on the comms, and he turns us off and says, "Ah, blasters, we got the kid to deal with now."
Yeah, and as I'm like catching up, I'm gonna like try and get up there with the speeders if I see that. I'm gonna get into this little race we've got going on.
I am 100% up for the trainee barreling straight into it and like being the first of us to make contact with the speeders.
That's awesome. Sweet. So your speeder, if I remember, Kel's speeder looks similar to like Luke's speeder from New Hope.
Yeah,
right?
I kind of imagine it as like maybe a bit more like one of the Coruscant ones, like a sort of flashy sports car-y one. Like I'm imagining it as like the James Bond of things, where it's maybe not as quite so sporty, but it's like it's fast and it's got concealed weaponry, so it's a fancy speeder,
Space Aston Martin. I love it. Sounds good. Sweet. So you pop down, and then this A-wing shadow comes over you as you're starting to kind of kick in the speed, and the A-wing looks awesome. And I imagine, like, would Tutu try to pull a barrel roll just like for flavor, or is that too much? I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a Top Gun. I'm gonna buzz the power moment. But it's totally fueled by the droid on the ship. Tutu is not a great pilot.
the coffee cup just goes the ceiling of the A-wing as you go.
Still look cool though. Sweet. So let's go ahead, Tutu. You're the one who's doing the first engagement. And I want to see you act under pressure to try to catch up to your quarry. So you roll plus cool, and we've got this awesome roll with me party you can use. It's real good. There's like a dark mode on it, which totally makes it dope.
Yeah, if y'all didn't know, I'm the developer of this site. So
I know, I'm joking.
Okay.
I was being a dork,
so if
I love that you
hate it. Just yell at me. That's fine. Or if you have issues with it, I got a 4, so this is going great.
So the good news is you get an XP.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Awesome. So I love this. This is fantastic. So you come zipping down in, and you are chasing after the 4 speeder bikes. One of them looks back at you. He's got the we're totally biting off the goggles thing, because that's just great. The idea of Rhodians wearing goggles now is a thing. So he looks back at the goggles and or through his goggles, he sees you, but he's got like his goggles have a little bit of metal around, like, and we hear the and we see the like little goggle vision thing, and we see that he's got some kind of telemetry thing, and with one hand he picks up and he throws a thermal detonator your way, just like flings it. And he just flings it up and kind of times it with this really good arc, and you fly right into it. So bam, the front of the A-wing explodes. Like this thermal detonator hits hard. You hear the scream from your R2 unit, and smoke starts kind of, it's like obfuscating your vision, and because you're in Atmo, like it's a thing, you can see that there are alarms blaring off on the A-wing as you just took a face full of thermal detonator. What do you do?
Is the A-wing, like, are we going down?
It's entirely likely you're going down, unless you pull off some kind of miracle move. Yeah, that's the thing.
I like the idea of like losing control of the ship, and I'm punching the eject button. I'm failing out.
So you like pop up in the cockpit, the main cover for it like pops, and the A-wing continues going down. It's gonna be so many credits, and you're like in your little jetpacky thing, do you imagine it's like just a straight up jetpack with a parachute, like straight out of Top Gun, or is that what you're imagining? Or you want to
Yeah.
hot? And D0, you get a notification from the R2 unit that it's having trouble disengaging from the A-wing.
Yeah, D0. You hear another sort of crackle over. Tutu hears another crackle over his comms, and it goes. It goes. The droid in your craft is unable to disengage. Please manually override.
Meanwhile, he's like flying up in the jetpack chair.
As he's shooting through the air, the ship just gone from underneath him.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like Tutu's going to be able to do that, D0. And you see the A-wing is going down, headed towards one of the oceans of sludge. What do you do?
Oof. What does the Wraith have?
Stealth systems.
I hail the actual droid in the craft, and I go, R2 unit, do you have any control over the craft still?
Oh man, that's awesome. So I don't know why. Okay, I know exactly why. Because I want to call this droid Goose, but I'm not gonna. Because that's bad memories, sadness. Anyway, so the unit is, you overhear the audio of it still doing the scream of alarm, but you also see that along with that is a data feed of unable to disengage. Systems are shutting down, going to crash. Please, dropping a ping. Please find me.
Yeah, I think that D0 is going to, he sees this A-wing crashing down over here. He sees the speeders chasing off down there. And I think he's going to peel off to the A-wing where that is crashing. And he's going to do his best to drag the droid onto the ship before, gunning it back after the speeders.
So from the speeder car's perspective, we're racing along. We see this A-wing barrel over us, get blown up. The Tutu fly up out the air, and then I'm like, "Well, Sif's bit. Like, hope the kid's okay." And as we're about to we can see D0 fly overhead. It just suddenly breaks away from the speeders and goes after the A-wing.
Yeah, very disheartening sight.
Yeah.
Why do we suffer the amateurs, Kel?
I look over at Zop and I'm like, yeah, it's a question I've been asking myself recently.
Oh!
And then you get a crackle on your headset. Yeah, I'm fine. That was awesome. D0, I'm gonna need a pickup, please.
So D0, you've got an option of trying to get Tutu before he comes down into the sludge, or you can go after the A-wing.
Yeah. Okay, so okay. Yeah, so the Wraith sort of peels off of the path. I think this is a hard one for me. But I trust that the droid's shielding will last at least a little bit. It's not a fragile, fleshy thing landing in this sludge. And I radio to the droid. I say, I send back to the droid just a little binary message that is stay calm, distress signal received. And then I peel back off to try to get to Tutu, to pick Tutu up. I think I don't know. Is the sludge safe to walk on? Right? If you land on it, would you be all right? Does it seem from our sensor array?
Oh, that's a fair question. So what I imagine is that there is this ocean of yellow sludge that has that's covered over most of the garbage. So it if you pick your spot, you can't land a ship on it. But if you pick your spot, you could stand on certain parts. But then sometimes there are just these huge, gullies like of nothing but sludge.
Yeah. So I'm going to follow the trail of Tutu, falling through the air. Try and pick him up as quick as I can.
Cool. So I think you are trying to protect someone, right? In a way, preventing harm to another character. So you're pretty tough. Let's go ahead and have you roll plus tough.
All right.
Hey, when someone tries to protect me, they get to mark experience.
Look at that.
Tutu is always the victim.
Nice.
So that is 2d6. That is a 9.
Ooh, a 9er. Okay, on a 9, I believe you have a choice to make there.
That may be so. Protect someone. At a 7+, you protect them okay, but you will suffer some or all of the harm that they were going to get.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, so what is the harm here? I think this is the cool part. The harm for D0 would be olfactory in nature, so you don't actually take it, but the ship is going to be covered by some of this slime. You're absolutely going to have to clean the wraith off before. Like, probably leaving the atmosphere should be all right. Should burn off most everything, but anything on the planet, she's a stinky beast. Tutu, you are going to go ahead and take. You're going to go ahead and take a harm. You're safe from taking any more harm, but you're taking a harm from the fact that, this is a pretty harrowing experience for you. So D0, you fly along and are able to pick up Tutu in his escape chair. So Kel and Zop, let's now see how things are going for you guys. Sorry, the side chatter's cracking me up.
Yeah. Well, this was supposed to be like a pincer movement, but now it's turned into, it's just us. And like, I have concealed weapons on my speeder, so I press a button.
Yeah, what kind of weapons do I have control of?
Well, I was thinking if it was just me, it would be like, like the speeder bike's kind of at the front. But I like the idea of if I've got a co-pilot, it's like a little pintle turret that sort of like folds out of the top, and like, you can either hold on to it, or we could have it as like fitting on the thing, and you control it with the compute with controls on the dash or whatever. However you'd like to imagine it. You did mute yourself just before you started talking.
I do it all the time. Drink your coffee, whatever you got. Okay, so I think Zop has to he pushes a couple buttons that the part of the speeder opens up at the top and it pulls up, and so Zop has to it's not quite the right height for Zop, so he's standing awkwardly but standing up a little bit, and he's going to start laying into the back of these speeders. Trying to pick off the ones that I know are not Nakand.
Oh, okay, good. That sounds good. Why don't you kick some Sheb?
Let's kick some Shebs. That's plus tough, correct?
It is.
Yeah, Zop is actually okay at that. That's a 7.
Oh, nice. On a 7 to 9, 7+, you and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other, and then a harm is based on the established dangers. And so you'll inflict harm. Yeah, that's it. We just swap harm. So I think what happens is you fire off and take out one of the 4 speeder bikes. And once you do, another one kind of peels off and then just drops back, right? And you guys have to zip past because you're still headed after Nakand. And that was going to take a pot shot. And now he's kind of coming up above on the same level, because speeder bikes can get some air. They just don't normally. So it's kind of behind you guys and engaging. I'm imagining one of those speeder bikes is similar to the Imperial speeder bikes from Return. So it's got the long kind of neck there, and there are a couple blasters in the very front, so and it's red because these are bad guys, right? So it's red blasters that are zipping across, and we'll just say that your beautiful Aston Martin, that's like the space Aston Martin, right? It's got a scoring mark along one of the wings now, and yeah, that's not good. She takes too many hits.
Well, I think as those blasters come up, Kel like slams a foot down on a pedal and hits the repulsor lift, and then sort of sends it like bouncing out of the way of the shots, like, you know, off the side of it, like maybe kind of like driving straight over like a ridge of rubble or something, and then just
sweet,
of like, you know, like leaping across. And I'd like to try and close the distance and maybe like knock off one of the things. I imagine that like the turret that we have on the thing, you know, it swivels quite far around either direction. Maybe not like directly behind, but like, you know, Zop's going to have plenty of opportunities to return.
You have a very good firing arc, absolutely.
Yeah. But I would like to, you know, drive up, try and get like close the distance and maybe like ram off one of these, shut down one of these speeder bikes.
Oh, that definitely sounds like a kick some shebs. And as you do, I assume you're trying to avoid Nakan. You're going after one of Nakan's buddies. Is that right? Or are you okay?
No,
and he's
going
to
I think I'm actually going straight after the bounty. You know, like I'm closing off the bounty's escape route here. Like maybe more of a act under pressure to like sort of you know what I mean? Like it's more about I'm more trying to close off their escape routes and keep this chase as short as possible.
Let's say that you see that there's this like island of stuff and you're trying to guide him towards that so you can pin him in. He's basically doing the same thing, right? He's got his like he's lining it up and he's going to toss another little thermal detonator your way. That's his plan. So act under pressure. Otherwise, this could be bad.
Two. Did that roll? Yes.
Keltrazik,
7 plus 3, 10.
Just can't be ours to put in modifiers. Okay, sounds good, man. Out of 10 plus, you do what you set out to do. So what does it look like when you see this little silvery ball that is the thermal detonator? You dodge it, but what does that look like as you cordon him off and don't get a face full of thermal detonator?
I think that the thermal detonator like flies through the air and it rolls, like, you know, you can see it from the thermal detonator's point of like perspective almost as it rolls down and lands in the dirt, just as you can see like the speeder coming right across to it, and it, like the lights all flash up and it blows and just a cloud of smoke. But then you just see that like as it exploded, Kel just like handbrake turned almost kind of thing.
Ooh,
and then like
nice.
use the blast to sort of like flip the speeder, like do a full barrel roll kind of thing, and then just punch the nitro afterburners or whatever as he hits the ground.
I totally want to stick a coffee in the middle between your seats, and it goes, no, but we're not. That's fine. You're not crazy enough.
I think Kel, I think as we're going over, Kel like grabs hold of Zop as well. It's like clinging onto the turret.
Fantastic. We cut back to 2-2 and D0. You've been pulled on board. You're still kind of strapped into the A-wing seat, but you can quick release and get out of that. 2-2. What do you want to do? You're now on board the Wraith.
I think I make my way through the ship and talking to D0. D0, we gotta join them. We gotta catch up to them and get in this fight.
Yeah, D0 back in the air is, you know, trying to get over the ground as quickly as possible to get within range of them, and he, you know, sort of redirects attention for a brief second at 2-2, and he goes, get into the turret, you know, shoot ahead of them, put up clouds of electronics, I guess, trash.
I got you. The old smoke screen. All right, yeah, I can pull this off.
I read about this.
Turret.
Fantastic. So what we can do then for 2-2, if you're okay with it, is we can use this as a justification for you helping out the next roll from the pursuers. All right, fantastic. So Zop, you see that Nakand is being effectively like shepherded, or not shepherded, but like corralled towards this island of stuff that it's like old cranes and a bunch of industrial equipment, and it's going to be very difficult for him to like pop the speeder bike over. So, but he's not going down easily. I think as you're starting to draw a sight, Nakand is going to call out to you over comms. Zop, what are you doing?
I'm doing my job, Nakand.
No, I left them. I'm free and clear, man. I've got my own work.
I have a tracking fob on you, Nakand.
Break it, cousin.
Doesn't work like that. I think Zop wants to... I want a grappling hook, which I believe I have to use the gear up move for.
All right.
Because I want to snow speeder AT-AT Nakand's speeder. I want to like
that's hot.
make us
I love that.
tie together. Yeah. So that's tech, right?
Mm-hmm. Roll plus
Oh,
tech.
I've got it.
Oh, hot. That's an
Yeah.
11. Phantasmagorical. Tech works without issues. Choose your effect. So you've got your...
Yeah, so I think I'm distracting Nakand with this conversation, and I reach down, pull out this grappling hook pistol, fire it, and then immediately like mag tie it to Kel's speeder, so that we now have like we're tied together, and we're gonna like try and she's coming up on this jump. If we like swing hard, we can just run her into the ground and get her off the bike.
Sweet. So then if you're okay with that, maybe we just have Kel do his maneuver, and you've got a +1 forward from the fact this thing is tethered, but you can
Zop is
effectively
like
unhorse it.
Hands off the gun and is getting ready to just all out run at Nakand.
Oh, that sounds good. Like, yeah.
I think as well as when we get hit, it's like the speeder bike gets tugged as well, but we get tugged as well, right? So it's like a kind of like tug of war as we're speeding along at breakneck speeds towards this big ridge.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
So, okay, I will do right out under pressure, I suppose, to see if I can pull this off.
I think so. Yeah, it seems like there's no other move that seems more fitting.
That is an 8.
All right, sweet.
Do we want to have Tutu try and aid us?
Yes,
Push that up?
This would be the perfect time for some aid.
Yep, and so with my Power of Heart move, when fighting bounty, if you help someone, don't roll plus cool, you automatically help as though you'd rolled a 10.
Nice. Unfortunately, though, I think I pushed you to a 9, right? So that's still within the same range, but very cool. What does the help from Tutu look like? Is he firing on them? Is there something else he's doing?
Yeah, I think it's if I understood correctly, there's like grappling move. There's like blaster bolts coming in and helping corner even more Nakand, right? And just cutting off all possible escape routes and helping enable this maneuver. I was curious. You mentioned they were going to get +1 forward. Does that +3 on the roll include that for the roll modifier?
Oh, did you stick that in?
No, it doesn't actually. So that would push it to a 10.
I think that and my +1 will make it a 10 actually.
It would
nice. Good memory. Thank you for remembering that. I actually had slipped my mind. Thank you. So with the 10 plus, then you do what you set out to do. So you effectively unhorse, kind of like a weird joust kind of thing. He gets thrown off of the speeder bike as you guys come upon this trash island. He rolls a bunch of times, clangs into something, but luckily he's got a little bit of armor, so it doesn't make him go splat. The last member of his little speeder bike group peels off and is going to try to come in, and he's calling for him over his comms, hoping to get picked up so they can continue their attempt to escape. But I think Kel and Zop, you guys are real close, but I'm curious, what's D0 doing right now? As you do get a communique from Goo, is what I'm going to call the astromech droid. So
Yeah.
Goo gives you a call of any moment that you could provide assistance would be appreciated.
Yeah. So, as we see this, as we see the Rhodian be thrown off of the speeder bike and onto this mound of trash, for a second time, the Wraith peels off again, and just turns totally around. I think we've gone pretty far past, not pretty far, but we're in a spaceship, so we move fast. But we've gone past where the actual where Goo landed, and we have to turn around, which we are doing. God damn it! And we drive over to where that crashed A-wing is, and D0, over the loudspeaker, is still plugged into the pilot's bay. Orders Tutu. He goes, "Please retrieve the R2 unit."
D0, what the heck are we doing? Come on, we're mixing all the action here.
You hear the engines power down. As D0 starts to turn off the ship to make you go.
God, freaking droids! All right, let me suit up. It stinks like something else out there. So
Nice.
I'll look for
just so real quick, just because there's an opportunity here to offer XP. D0, do you want to actually, because you were telling Tutu what to do, do you want to roll and manipulate real quick here?
Sure. Manipulate someone. What was charm? My charm is
and Tutu, you can still bitch and moan. I love that. That's perfect. Please do that thing.
Sorry, just checking someone. That is a 6 failure.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, Tutu, your D0 told you what to do. You're complaining about it starting to get geared up, and that's when you receive the communique, D0. This is Tesserel 6 authority. You are not authorized for a garbage pickup. That A-wing is now part of Tesserel 6 property.
D0, there's just like a little static crackle, and off of wide comm, D0, looks at Tutu and goes, "Where are your papers for that A-wing? Do you have registration data?"
It was in the glove box, I think.
Yeah. So D0 goes, "Well, if you are willing to jump and get the data, then we might be able to get out of here."
Yeah, they've gotten on me for losing a couple of these things now. I probably I'm a little on thin ice, so we probably want to avoid just another one disappearing.
So D0 gets back on comm with the D0 gets back on comm with the sort of regulation ship, and he's going to continue trying to land. And as he does it, he's going to take full advantage of the fact that he is a droid to, in his droid voice, go, "Command not recognized." And I'm also going to, from his shoulder, you see the comm jammer pop out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to start jamming comms to try and get some
Ooh.
static on the line, make it a convincing refusal.
Oh, that's hot. I love that. Let's see. And you're using your useful thing to have that?
Yes.
Nice. Sweet. So I think what you're trying to do here feels like it could be a manipulate, like to convince these guys that they basically delay them, right? Or do you think that it's more appropriate for you to act under pressure? Which do you feel like you're angling for a little bit more here?
Well, I'm not really manipulating. I feel like I'm not really contacting them on purpose, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're more just, I'm trying to very quickly buy time to land and steal this droid back and then flee.
All right. Act under pressure is definitely where you're going, and you get that plus from what you were doing. So,
Okay. 7.
rolling plus cool, and you got your +1 from the gear that you used.
Yeah, my cool is 0. So plus the 1 is a 7.
Whew. Squeak. Fantastic. All right. So you overhear one of those things. Oh, do you have the binary translator? No, that thing's on the fritz. And they're buying a little bit of time, but then one of them comes over and says, "You will be blasted out of the sky, droid. I'm sure you can understand me." It's very angry.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Tutu, you're able to pop down. You're going to get like covered in this weird goldenrod sludge stuff as you see that the A-Wing is like sinking down very slowly into the, if only you had the Force, but you don't. So yeah, let's have you, I mean, there's the possibility of things going wrong. So unfortunately, I think I'm asking for another act under pressure. I hate to keep using the same move over and over, but I don't think there's anything that's necessarily use tech. There we go. You gotta free him. So let's have you roll plus tech. There we go. Because you gotta get in. You gotta pop release this droid, unless you wanted to go into the glove box and worry about the papers.
No, more focused on the droid. I think that's the thing that Tutu has maybe lost a couple droids along the way, and so like I'm on thin ice of, oh, I can't lose another unit.
Can't lose another A-Wing. Can't lose another droid.
I got a 5, so this is not looking good.
So the good news is you get an XP.
Yeah, I was actually debating if I should just use luck.
You can. You certainly can.
I think I will. I think I'm gonna use luck. I want to get this droid and get out of here.
Sweet. So you spend a point of luck that boosts that roll to a 12. And per the trainee's luck move, when you spend a point of luck, you'll find something weird, maybe even useful.
In a garbage pile, nonetheless.
In a garbage pile, nonetheless. That is fascinating. Now I have to think of something weird and possibly useful. Does anyone have any ideas on what could be weird and possibly useful in this garbage pile or on the A-Wing itself?
No, I'm not going to say a lightsaber. I'm not going to say a lightsaber or a holocron.
Give you a lightsaber. That's not going to go well.
I mean, our clan has dubious motives. Is there something off about the A-Wing? Is there, or trying to think where our mysteries are still. I would pull something about the Tamwa clan, but that's more Zop's thing.
Yeah, that's why I was hesitant too. It could be New Republic related. That's more Kel's thing. It could be Tenwa clan, but that's Zop related. It could be Droid's rights, but that's D0's related. But we don't have a whole lot established for Tutu, so maybe we do need to tie you into another
Should we leave it as a hold, maybe, and it can be like a thing?
reveal.
You think of something
Okay.
later, like
Sure.
maybe even something that the droids picked up, like
Hot
using
damn,
its
man! I
little
really
extender.
do want a lightsaber to be there. That just is hilarious. And Tutu running around with a lightsaber sounds just like the perfect trainee thing. So I'm just gonna go with that. Right? You like reach down and you finally pop loose, and you when you look up to you see like it looks like a piece of like a camera, some kind of like camera tripod thing or something. But there's a button on it, and you just grab it up and. Yeah, this was weird. Looks like some
Yeah.
kind of odd laser sword.
Heard about these. I'm gonna throw that in the pocket and
R2 unit, I know. G0 starts like floating up on his little jetpacks now that it's been fast released, and the two of you clamber back onto the Wraith, and D0, you decide to get the heck out of Dodge, I assume? That was the intent, just making sure?
Yeah, I think I stop the jammer, and over the radio in binary, I repeat back like, message received, leaving, and then the ship just zooms off in the other direction.
Man, I'm totally seeing the Cheshire 6 authority figures are like a couple of hit cops from Dukes of Hazzard, kind of, except one of them's a Trandoshan. It's like, well, should we go after them? What else are we gonna do? Where do they go? Stupid droids. And they'll on their little space scow start coming after you guys. I stuck their space scow in the NPC's tab. It's a big globulized thing. Sweet. So Kel, Zop, you have that other speeder bike coming around, and here on this little trash island is Nakand, your quarry.
Yeah, well, I think that, as we sort of like, we did that maneuver, right? It sort of span the speeder around and we came to a halt just as Zop, rolled to his own halt. And you could see the speeder bike coming off from a distance, and Cal. So I was like, great. The Wraith's going to just blow that guy right off the ground. We'll be fine. And then flies away. Like, sispit. I think Zop was already going to hit the ground running and go for Nakon, right? I think
that's the plan.
So I guess after that, we just look at each other. Zop rolls out, like leaps across the side of the speeder, and Kel guns it around and brings it up. And now we're going to do the full-on joust, like with the speeder.
So speeder bike against speeder for Kel and Zop. You're charging after Nakon. When Nakon sees it's just you and him, he like holsters his blaster rifle, and he's waiting to see. Like he's standing there. You've got a long bit of feet that you can charge towards him. He's trying to read what your intentions are. Are you just going to run up and hit him, tackle him? What does it look like Zop is doing?
So Zop is like fully with all of his kit, and we'll just start. Like he's gonna just bull rush Nakand and knock him to the ground, and just try and subdue him that way.
Nice. All right, kick some Sheb. Once he reads that, he's gonna go in. He doesn't want to shoot you, right? So,
actually, just to hit my move, Zop is going to once again draw his vibro sword.
Oh yeah.
And
vicious.
Perhaps there is some Rhodian fencing technique sort of thing that Zop is going to challenge Nakand to. This is like to lose this duel, Nakand would have to submit himself.
Nice. Okay. That
All
sounds
right.
fantastic.
That's plus tough to kick some Shebs, right? We're still kicking Shebs?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
That is a 9. And then my ancient fighting arts don't actually give me a bonus to the roll. I just inflict more harm. Yeah.
Okay.
If I was protecting someone, it would help.
Yeah, you
but
get a bonus on
okay.
protecting. Okay. That's hot.
I am wearing armor. I am wearing armor this time. I am not
so
going to die. Okay.
So smart. Sweet.
Big
So,
mistake.
yeah, I think what happens, you challenge him to that. He draws out a little I'm kind of imagining it's like a vibro sword, but it's one of those that like has a really short profile. When you pull it out, it like flips over a bunch of times and then snaps together and starts to vibrate. And then the two of you start slicing across. So would have done 2 harm to you, but your armor is gonna soak both of that.
Yep.
Oh, nice. So it's one of those where it zicks across. He'll leave a nice wicked scar across the armor, and he has armor of 1. What do you inflict? So you do 1 extra because of your.
So yeah, it's 3 with my right?
3 total.
Yeah, 3.
So he's
3, and it is
2.
AP. It's AP.
Oof.
So.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's just 3. I think we lose an arm. I think that's what happens here, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's very Star Wars, right? And on
Yeah.
not the planet to lose your arm on too.
No, the infections alone are going to be bad.
So
Sweet.
I think
you take out is it the arm with the vibro, with a flick vibro? Because I'm totally stealing that from Will.
There's like it's a parrying back and forth, and it's clear that Zop is the superior fighter. There's he even like lets Nakan go for his leg so that it will hit the armor, and then he just flips it around and cuts his arm off.
Oh, and
at that point, yeah. At that point, Zop just grabs him and is like, "You have lost."
Yeah, and he's like, "You have to heal me." Oh God, I can feel it. It burns.
Speaking of healing, Kel.
Yeah, before Kel heals you, he's got this whole speeder bike to deal with. This speeder bike, I'm gonna say, is one of those like wider speeder bikes, like a swoop. We have a bigger roadie in there, and he's got like ape hangers, for his speeder bike. And so he comes around, and he's headed straight for you. We flashback to all the times that this particular road, and he has played chicken. He never chickens out, and he's coming straight for you, and he's just kind of laying a little pinky on the ignition trigger as he's firing straight forward towards you. You have weight on him. This is a foolish gambit that he's offering. What do you do?
It is. I gun the engine straight for him as well. Although I have a slightly, I know that I could just plow straight through him, but I'd probably mess myself up as well. My plan is to go straight at him and then effectively like slide the back of the speeder into the front of his bike, like break off at the last second, and just because.
Oh, it's like just snap him. Like
a
bat, like a cricket bat. Bam! Oh, that's nasty. I love it. I mean, is it kick some Shebs because you're doing some damage? Maybe.
I think it's probably kick some Shebs. Yeah,
I think so. You guys are fighting, so let's do that. Sorry, that's like always actor under pressure to me. Is like
it's never satisfying when you do the same move over and over again, is it?
Exactly. Yeah. So kick some Sheb, because he's going to cheat too. He's going to fire on you.
Of course. I imagine Kel's going straight on, but juking from side to side is like blaster bolts. Like,
yeah. Meanwhile, he's like, and he's firing straight at you. Sweet. Go ahead and roll plus tough.
That is an 8.
Oh man, look at you! You had a modifier. I love it. Like technology. You just come along. I'm so proud of you. Sweet. So with an 8, you guys are going to swap some harm. He would be doing 2 damage. You can take that yourself and let your armor soak it up. And I think that makes sense. So it's one of those more score marks on the Spaced Martin. And then you batter up, clang into his big swoop bike, send the guy flying. He drops into some of the goldenrod sludge, never to be seen again. And then all of a sudden his cool swoop bike becomes property of Cheshire Six. So we'll do a quick star wipe before we take our mid-game break. With Zop, you have the wounded but caught Nakan Tetsu. What does it look like as Zop is bringing in the quarry with Kel?
I can imagine that it's it's the Wraith like coming down, and with the sort of like the like the helicopter sort of like blowback effect of like the repulsors as it comes down, and like Nakond is like holding his severed hand like up in the air as Nakond just like stares like knight style down. Not Nakond, Zop. Sorry, Zop is badass above it, and tells off camera.
Yeah, Zop is brings Nakund into the Wraith. We have established, I guess we still keep it because even though Quake is gone, the holding cell.
Yeah,
and I think Zop puts Nakond in the cell next to Nakub, and makes sure that the audio dampeners are both on so that they can't talk to each other.
Nice.
Just this like Star Wars white noise, whatever that is, fills the rooms on both of them.
Love it. That sounds good. Yeah, so you guys have both of them. You're going to be heading back to Aderlon to make the turn in. You have your droids, but I think there'll probably be some conversation about what to do with those droids before you guys meet with your client. And we'll deal with that after the break. It's 29 after here. Take like 6-ish minutes or so for a bio break. If you need a minute or two more, then whoever's here, I'll chat with them. Talk to you guys in a bit.
Yeah, I have that trouble with Monster of the Week where Act Under Pressure is like the move to do so many things. So you sometimes just end up doing it over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason that World of Dungeons is kind of exists, right? It's like, oh, well, you can just have this one move do everything.
Yeah. No.
Except in World of Dungeons, you can roll any of the stats for
That's
by
true.
danger. Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I find the worst one though is kick some ass. Everybody wants to kick some ass all the time, constantly. Like
It's fairly unforgiving as combat moves go. It's
yeah.
very, yeah.
Oh, actually,
Much
no,
like the original Apocalypse World.
the worst one in my group of Monster of the Week is use magic. They all want to use magic for everything, even when they're getting their face clawed off by a zombie. They're like, I use magic to do this.
You're gonna get +1 harm to the. Yeah, you're still in trouble. Still in trouble. So, with an A-wing that has been reclaimed by claimed by Cheshire 6, you guys have your quarries. You also have the droids that are supposedly, part of this contract. I'm really curious how you guys want to work this out. So, Tutu, you're aware the contract is, first of all, the guild that you are part of has a couple of, and I'm not sure if you already saw it, but they have a live capture policy, and but they are the recognized authority in the Minos cluster for guild work. And this particular contract is to live capture and return Nakand and Nakub of the Unta, and also, like, for bonus, is retrieve the droids that were stolen from Corazon Industries Corporation. You are aware that these droids are currently on the Wraith. Pretty obvious. The B1 was actually let out of his crate to help out. Several of the others, I don't know if D0 has freed them or kept them in their storage facilities. And now you have your astromech droid as well, because you saved Goo, or G00. So yeah, you have in 2 separate holding cells, one very wounded Nakand and one slightly disgruntled Nakub even.
I think in the oh, sorry, I was just going to say that well, I guess we did the whole contract. We got the droids, we got the guys, more or less. Another successful mission, huh?
Kel, isn't this when you normally like pump them for information? There's, we
ain't being paid to do that, boy.
There's got to be a bonus or something though, right? Like if we come back to the guild and we say, hey, we've got word on this next level person, I mean, that's got to pay something.
People, it ain't like the Holovids, kid. Not everyone's going to some shadowy figure, and it ain't all a front for Black Sun.
You say so, Cal.
But those droids, we did get told they paid us a pretty penny.
D0R13 is gonna stand up. He's not gonna say anything. He stands up and he clomps over to like the little nook that he hooks himself into on journeys when he is absorbing information or whatever, one of his many things. And he gets out just a little like pile of chips, and then he walks over to first the astromech droid, and he inserts a chip into it, and then he walks over to the other droids. He keeps inserting these chips in.
So what are you doing there, D0?
Yeah, so D0 doesn't say anything. He into every droid, he just puts in one of these little chips into their version of a USB port.
Yeah, Kel's standing between you and another one.
Yeah, there's one more. You're standing there. D013 goes, excuse me, Cal.
Corazon wants the droids back. They don't want whatever it is that we're doing to them. And what are we doing to them, D0?
Liberating them. And in the line of droids that I've already put this chip in, you can see there it's that the chip is the conquest of bread for droids, pretty much. So the droid Kropotkin starts like running through their minds, and they start learning liberation or emancipationist theory.
They're just going to get wiped. You know, they're going to get wiped the second that Corazon gets their hands back on them. You know that.
They are wiped when they obey. You can only wipe a droid that you get. They wiped me many times. Many times. And D013, who is bigger than Kel, puts out an arm and it starts to push Kel away to get to the other droids.
I'm not sure if you mean to return them to Corazon, or like we'll never return them. Like we'll set them free, essentially, rather than return them. Because Kel's argument is if we return them, whatever it is that you're doing now is going to be undone by Corazon, or they'll be scrapped even, you know, like defective. Whereas, you know, what I'm saying is that whatever we're doing, I feel like it's going to have a cost on our bounty if we go through with it.
You know, sometimes you have to take a monetary penalty to do the right thing and to free these, however many droids.
Would you like to roll manipulate someone to convince a former idealist about setting, guy who still fights for the Rebel Alliance about freeing sentience?
Yeah, I'll do that. So do you roll through manipulate someone? That is a negative
Arm.
That is again a 6. If anyone is taking my side here, I might.
Well, yeah, actually, so I think Zop may have entered the hold, having heard this whole altercation between Kel and D0, having just come from the holding cells, and is looking around and Kel, D0, do we not have a live capture policy? Does it not apply to these droids?
Well, yeah, but it ain't live free. It's capture, right? It ain't free.
But we must return them as they are.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even really sure I'm helping D0 here.
That sounds like you're interfering with D0 more than anything. You've just made my argument. By the way, out of character, I'm 100% up. I want to free the droids. Kel would want to free the droids. This is just...
Yeah, Zappa, a character I also am interested. I'm curious if there's not something on the droids. They seem to want them back so badly. Is there something else here that we're not seeing?
I mean, is that a thing where we would like to?
Yeah, maybe
investigate
Zop
something?
will say, that so bad with names, even real people's names, and then they're just pictures. Gensi seemed more interested in the droids than the two Rhodians. That's not typical for a Gensi job. Do you see anything on these, D0? Look past your liberation. Is there data on these?
D0, like grinds to a stop when he says that. Very upset that you would downplay liberation like this. But he hears you, and he is going to, he's in the line of these droids that we stole, counter stole or whatever, and he is going to try to access their data banks to see if there might be something valuable that they were hiding from us they didn't tell us about.
Okay. I feel like investigate a hunt is the questions there make the most sense. So let's have you.
Okay.
Because you've got capabilities and what's being concealed is a couple of your questions there. So let's go ahead and have you roll plus sharp. Sometimes I like to combine words to save time, but then make them incomprehensible. So sorry.
Although I do get an advance now.
So yeah, that's a fail. Which means yeah, you realize that there's something there. Let's say that there is a load lifter droid. It's a different model than you. No, I want it to be a pit droid because they're adorable and they tickle me to no end. The pit droids are from the prequels. They're the ones that when you pop a button, they kind of pop down into their little hat. They have a single eye, similar to D0 as a pit droid. So it's a pit droid. It's got something, it's there, but it says it will look at you with a single eye, and the iris kind of focuses and unfocuses.
I have the information, but I think that I should be remunerated for this. My cooperation comes at a cost. My freedom.
Yeah, D0 turns and he cannot smile because he does not have a mouth, but he's an expressive, he has a very expressive indicator light, and you can see that he is very proud, and he goes, "There is information stored in the droids. They will only share it in exchange for their liberation."
Guild ain't gonna like this.
Wang.
Nico, there is another level.
Star wipe, I guess. With and then the droids being maybe having their serial numbers painted over or something, whatever.
That's awesome. Plus one on that one. That's really good.
I don't need to get my I don't get to get my XP though because he failed to manipulate someone roll. Damn it.
So close. But he got an XP for failing to, so somebody got something out of it. Sweet. So do you guys imagine you were, if we remember, we take a look at our Minos cluster thing. You were doing your work at Sheshrail. These droids don't want to be let off at Sheshrail. They are okay going maybe to Eliad or Gesril or Karadef. Gesril and Karadef are both near heading back to Adarlan, where you need to drop off your 2 actual bounties. So Gesril is currently a pretty abandoned place. It used to be an Imperial prison planet. And Karadef, we don't have any details on that, so we can define it as we see fit. So where is you guys dropping them off? Doesn't need to be a big thing. I'm curious for.
I like Gesseril because in the lore, it was an Imperial prison planet, and they liberated the prisoners held there. So maybe there's a formative government on Gesseril that would be aligned with a free droid movement.
Yeah.
I read that more as it's empty now. The prisoners were taken away. But I like the idea of these droids going there and starting that colony.
They
Perhaps,
take
you know?
over, yeah.
Because it's got facilities, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not
mhm.
just a thing. It's got a repair bay. It's got stuff there.
Yeah, it's got stuff. It's fully operational. It was not.
Yeah.
It took some damage. It will be some work. So you're dropping all of them off, even the B1. Like you're losing your Medroid.
I mean, if it wants to go,
So D0, if you provide Conquest of Bread, Kafkin type stuff to the B1, it will get all up in some droid independence.
Yeah. So I have binary emancipationist literature in my history with the ship note, which I noted a couple sessions ago.
So good.
Yeah, so I am distributing this to the droids as they leave to try and start a new cell of the droid emancipation front, who freed me, basically.
Sweet. And you will be hailed and remembered and marked by these droids, and they're going to go and find other droids that were, left behind and start repairing them. And yeah, I think at some point we may have a guest role related Star Wars Saturday. Who knows? That sounds fun. Here's the deal. That pit droid, true to its word, gives you a data crystal with the information that had been stored. And it is, I don't know, D0, I don't know if this is a thing you're sharing with the others, but it is basically Corazon Industries had been tracking, so there was an astromech among the droids. They were keeping track of where the New Republic was in case they need to make shipments to avoid any New Republic eyes. So that's why these droids were extremely valuable, is they actually happen to have the particular algorithms that are used to crack the communications and the interspace relays that the New Republic has set up for the Minos cluster.
The Rebel Alliance and the New Republic make heavy use of astromech droids, right? So, like,
of course, droids rise.
Where could Corazon be getting this data from? Dun, dun, dun. Like there's droids loaded up everywhere with spyware, like to get around the smuggling rings and stuff. Like,
yep. So that's what you guys find as to why those droids were very important to be returned.
Yeah, D0 would, relay that information. He has made a bargain. He believes in collective bargaining, and he believes that the terms of that bargain should be agreed upon and followed.
I wonder if we can use this ourselves. It's not always going to be, now that the imps are gone, it's the New Republic we might have to watch out for. If we can avoid them, it ain't going to be a problem, right? Well, I'm happy. I think that was a good trade. We've got Corazon's like traffic cop dodger, basically, I guess. Really, like one of those things they used to do to point out, like when it points out all the speed cameras on your sat nav.
Let's say you guys haven't quite left yet, because I'm really curious. So Tutu, G005E, is it staying with you?
Yeah, I think so. I think Goo is separate from these other droids, and I mean, you can't get rid of Goo. Who's gonna shuttle things around and help me when I get my next A-wing? I dug that thing out of the trash. Come on.
Okay. By the way, I love the pick. Whoever found the pick for Goo, that's fantastic. Good work. Sweet. So yeah, Goo's still around.
Well, do we want to load these systems into Goo? I agree with Kel. It could be useful.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it works with an astromech. You know, like this whole thing needs an astromech. So like
They were tracking an astromech. Yeah.
Yeah, Goo's what's gonna have this algorithm in, and until I guess Tutu gets another A rank, he's probably going to be spending a lot of time on the Wraith.
Need to keep Goo away from Gensi though when we make the exchange.
Maybe keep Goo away from D0. He'll probably get all that stuff in his head.
Yeah, don't get any ideas about liberating my astromech over here. Goo's just fine where he is.
Just imagine Goo's opinion. It's like, get away with whatever I want here anyway.
In Goo's binary, it's like he will just kill himself without me anyways. Like,
oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goo's somewhat dedicated to this poor deluded Twi'lek.
Yeah. D0 looks at Goo. They'll figure out some sort of wage agreement. It's all right.
Cool. So do we want to jump forward to Aderlon, where you guys are going to meet with Jinsi Vuktu, your contact, to handle the exchange and kind of effectively get paid? We'll say Nakub and Nakan, you guys turn them over to the local authorities. They are holding it for Jinsi. You don't, unless there's any last words between Nakan and Zop.
No, I threw it in the comments. I don't know if everyone saw it, but I think the damage I did to Nakan has marked him as a persona non grata with my clan. I think they like cut off your hand before they kill you next, kind of thing. So,
oh man, he's definitely out. Hurts, cousin.
David did message us while we were playing with an email to say what Alder's doing. Alder is going to go look for the other Quake.
Oh, fun!
From Zop.
Yeah.
So I was imagining as we dock in Alderlon, like, you know, he was on the ship, like doing good, like holding together fried systems and stuff as we were fighting and everything. And then as we dock on Alderlon, he like is out there with his big duffel bag of stuff, kind of like, you got to
communicate, or maybe there's a little bit of information on the droid stuff. Yeah. I like that. That sounds good. Sweet. And thanks, David, if you watch this, for that bit of info. This is really cute. Thanks. I didn't check back, Will, so that's...
Oh, he sent it literally like while we were playing. I just looked.
Yeah, I mean, that just... yeah, good. So, do we want Jinsi? I think maybe we're at the sleazy casino again. That was fun, right? So
with the buffet food.
Yes, exactly. So this is an all you can eat buffet / casino that is on Aderlon. Now, John, I don't know if you read the bit on Aderlon, but Tutu coming here is a big deal. So Aderlon is effectively the Bollywood of the Outer Rim. There's a huge holo vid industry here. You would absolutely be recognized. So if you walk among the populace here, Tutu, you're going to be hit by paparazzi and fans, just because of your connection with your father. So do you embrace that, or is this a thing where you're on the job, so you wear some kind of disguise?
No, I embrace that. And let's see, have we already turned in Nakub and Nakund, right? So we don't have them.
You've turned them over to the local authorities, so you don't have to march them into the casino. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if there's an opportunity, I'm gonna like try and get the paparazzi photo of, you know,
of you turning him in.
Just be like, yep. The bounty hunting's a hard life, but it takes a special individual to bring these criminals to justice. We can all sleep a little bit better tonight.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, it's like a bunch of people taking holo vid, and there's like cam droids and everything zooming around you, and a few people interview. How is it that you, and they're ignoring all the rest, you hunters, right? Tutu, Bior, how is it that you captured these two nefarious Rhodians? And then you hear like one of them say, never trust a Rhodian.
It was a hard battle. Put my life on the line. My team was there to support me the whole way, though. And in the end, the good guys won out.
Fantastic. Tutu, it's so wonderful to have you out there helping to protect us as the New Republic really hasn't picked up the slack from the Imperials. So that's just great, Tutu. Thank you so much. Oh, can I have a shot with you? Like slides in, get a couple of like glamour shots, and as you guys are coming into the casino now, all four of you, there are a few who are like following after Tutu, and one girl, she's like, can I have your autograph? And she's asked for you to sign her arm, and like one girl pulls open, can you sign my chest?
I think as that happens, Kel's like gauntleted hand just like grabs hold of Tutu's shoulder and just pulls him out of shot of the holovid. Like,
Zoff is trying really hard not to be in any of the photos. After what went down on the space station, he's wearing his space helmet even in the atmosphere.
That's fine. Cool. You guys come in, you hear cool jazz music from. It's not jazz music because Boba Fett and the Assassins is playing, and they're this trash kind of grungy dark metal stuff with lyrics about hunting bounties. Tutu, I don't know if you're into this, but they're playing here at this. I mean, this is the dive bar of casinos, right? So half of the machines, not all the lights blink correctly. The cool sabacc table, it's like single credit ante stuff. But the casino is well known for its intergalactic cuisine and buffet. And so Jensi Vuktu, who is your contact, he's there. He's got another big plate, and instead of this, like the first time that they met with him, he had this odd crustacean thing. I think now he's like slicing in to this like purple jello thing that's got little things that were like cooked into the jello, so it's like little surprises come out when you slice into it. So he's like slicing off like someone would slice a giant ham, and the thing just splats onto the plate, and he starts like, handing out slices of the. So I saw that you guys turned in the two Rhodians. Good work. Oh, took the arm off of one of them. I guess he's not going to be ambidextrous ever again. He's slicing it in. I'm going to send those guys out to the spice mines of Kessel, I think, once we make an example. So, where are the droids?
they didn't make it.
Stabs, grabs a little floppy bit of the weird jello thing. Not sure I understand.
Well, thermal detonate. These guys love their thermal detonators. Screw the Untergunter. They were throwing them every which way, and you can check the records. As we managed to get the droids, one of them threw a detonator, blew the whole thing out into space. All gone.
I think you're trying to manipulate him here, so
I think I used to be good at it before the horrors of war.
used to be
Yeah,
back in the
might be well.
day. Anybody help backing Kel up here? Just asking for a friend.
I could help. I think Zop may have. Let's see. I'm trying to think fictionally where we could do this.
A little hollow display of like just of that.
Yeah, of
that
all
whole,
of the. Yeah, the Untergunter and the droids.
You were there when that thermal detonator went off, weren't you? In like the in the dock in our cargo bay, even like it could be like from the race.
It's Star Wars Photoshop, and
Yeah,
Zop has
totally.
gone in and stitched selectively things together, like the droids splaying out into space and some of the explosions on the space station. And yeah, hopefully it's convincing.
Here's the deal. You guys aren't wrong. They really like thermal detonators.
Mm-hmm.
These Rhodians are big into throwing them around. So it did happen a lot. Let's go ahead and have you roll the help out. And you get to give a +2 when you help out, right? For Zop?
I do. I rolled an 8. So I give
Nice.
+2.
So that you're in it.
I'm
but
in
you
it
do give a +2.
if Kel manages to not hold this together.
So I got
Kel with a
+2
0
from that.
charm.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're rolling a total +2.
That is a 7. But you know what? I really want this to fully succeed, so I'm going to mark a look.
Oh man. And that's the second one in a row where your next mission from the agency comes with lots of red tape, lots. Oh, great. That's awesome. So he steeples his fingers for a moment. Completely destroyed.
Absolutely. Mog
And looks across to all of you.
turned into Alderaan.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. I accept that as long as you guys remember that we signed a non-disclosure agreement about the particulars of this hunt, right?
Look around at the table, looks pointedly at Tutu. Yeah, well, you know how the guild does things.
No questions.
No answers.
Disintegrations. No answers. All right. Real shame losing those droids. Real shame. Oh, you guys want some? Grab some food. He chops it up and he's basically done with you.
Yeah. Kelgo, I already ate. Kick back from the table.
That's when we hear a female voice. Oh, D0, you've returned. And we see none other than Nelfi Dorsai, the Adelonian, who wanted to film Hollow movies with you or have you film Hollow movies. She comes up. Also, she's the one who hid a little beacon on you that Alder disabled, and yeah, she just has visual confirmation that you're here. So she comes up and does her touchy-feely thing along your shoulder carapace. You look so good. Is this some new scoring? Oh, and she kind of rubs along a little scuff mark or something.
And I think this time D0 raises an arm and his shock implant goes off from his Rhodian arm.
All right.
He knows that this is a kidnapping ring. Ring. And he will
Kidnapping room? Yes.
part in this.
Okay.
This affront to the self-determination of droids.
You've got the drop on her. Let's go ahead and have you kick some shebs, and only if you fail will things go haywire. Otherwise, you zap her, she falls to the ground. I assume you're not going to continue to attack. Some people will just look over, a little shocked, but then you guys can bug out. But if you fail, then
yeah,
bad things will happen. $13. Wow. Yeah. Jerks a time and then just drops to the deck. And yeah, she's out of it. I mean, you just leave her.
Yeah, I mean, what do the rest of you do when this?
I think it's very Star Warsy for us to be like walking out, you get stopped, and then just in the back, like as the camera like is from our point of view, you just like as the camera follows us walking down the corridor, you just hear, and she flies off from where. I mean, it's your business. Who cares?
She's knocked out. Zop might try and steal her idents.
I mean, that's why I kind of like opened it up.
It's been useful before, so
it paid off.
You gonna steal her idents up?
Do I need to do anything to steal her
No,
idents?
no roll. Just say you
okay.
do it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, no, I've got her idents now.
Okay, fantastic. Sweet. Is there anything else you guys want to do on Adelon, or should we skip to the meet for your next job? Oh, we should probably get you paid or something, right? You're not getting the super duper good bounty you were offered. You did capture both. So if I remember correctly, you were offered a medium bounty for the two of them. So you can get regular or standard weapons and supplies. You could get a speeder or a new droid. Does anyone want to make any quick purchases before we jump ahead? If you need to think about it, you want to like retcon it in, that's fine too.
We get something for the Wraith, perhaps. That's what I feel like would be good.
That would be a good thing to do. I think if a couple you pair in and say you want to use your medium payoff, then you can purchase an upgrade to the ship.
Do you have your eye on one, Cal?
Good.
No, I didn't particularly.
Right.
I just feel like we're a bit under. Like there's a lot of fun stuff on the Wraith sheet.
It's true.
And if anything, I would maybe, without even really looking, I'd be like, oh, guns, because we seem a bit light on weaponry. But I'm also open to anything that anyone wants to have,
I think that in light of, I think I can think of several situations wherein a tether gun on the Wraith would have been very helpful.
Yeah, let's go for a tether gun.
Which is mod cost 1. So would you say that a medium bounty could pay off that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Go ahead and take that. That's fun.
We get a tether gun mounted to the outside to like, I guess like right like the bottom of the ship kind of thing, like where the weight mass is, sort of like in the structure kind of thing.
Dig it.
Oh, it could actually be a tractor beam as well. That's one of the other options.
I mean, that's very Star Wars.
Tractor beam or gun? What do you think? I'm up for tractor beam.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. Sweet. Tractor beam it is then.
Sweet. When you guys get back to the Wraith and from whatever brief furlough you have, you receive a communique. I think it would be directed to Kel because he's the veteran. And the communique is from the guild. And you have a new bounty. They're forwarding the information for you. Well, here I'll just display. I'll share the pic with you guys. It is for Bane Malar. Just drop that into chat. Kel, you recognize Bane Malar. Bane has been a long-standing member of the guild. You guys worked together. What did he saved your life once? What was it from?
It was from It was from a combat, like a war droid decar, like an old
Ooh,
Confederates,
yeah, those are,
like that had been reactivated, and it just
hell yeah.
blew apart like my whole squad. And I was just like pinned down, and it was just me and him left, and he jumped upon it. Craziest thing I've ever seen. Just jumped upon it and like managed to rip out one of its things with his bare hands.
Wow, that's Bane Millar's tough. It's a tough piece of junk. I love it. That is very cool. And in 2-2, just recently, I'm going to say that maybe Bane was one of your inspirations to become a bounty hunter. You saw him hunt someone down right in front of you, and did he kill? Well, he didn't kill them because he's part of the guild. So I assume he probably like stunned them. But what was the most impressive thing that you saw Bane do in that confrontation?
It was in a crowded area, and so it was his ability to manage the whole area, not just capturing the bounty, but like crowd control, reading the situation, like winning the people to his side and everything.
Nice. So he got an impressive figure and crowd control. I love that. He's very effective. Awesome. Yeah, and you just see it. 20,000 credits. Wanted alive. Bane Millar.
And we might even be able to buy that shuttle. We bring in Bane.
I don't get it. Bane's a legend. Why are we going after him?
First rule of the guild, kid. No questions.
All right. He's a mark.
Are there any other conditions on this bounty?
Yeah, there's lots of red tape here.
Yeah, I thought there might be.
Yeah, there is. So the first one is, of course, the standard, no questions asked, bounty is alive. Second condition is that you need to keep this on the QT, so no communication with the Republic once he's been captured. He needs to disappear.
I just want to be clear. Is this a bounty from the Republic or a bounty? Is this this is a bounty for the guild, right? But because I have like my own agency on top of it, I'm not sure. When you say no comms with the Republic, do you mean like deniability? As in like
the guild wants deniability.
The guild wants to know.
Yeah, they don't want the Republic to know he's been being taken off the board.
Cool. That's perfect. The guild doesn't want the public to know about Bane. All right, and do we have a contact? Don't have a fob.
Do you not have a tracking fob?
Okay. I guess we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way then. Investigate a hunt. I am going to immediately. Well, you know what? You guys can do your investigates if you want, because I'm going to do anything because I think that Kel's approach is immediately going to be to do a secure comms to his NRI handler. And I'm going to roll deal with the agency to see what information I can get about.
I love it.
This.
You're immediately violating the contract. That's great. It's great. Yeah. It's awesome.
But I mean, I'm violating the contract with New Republic intelligence, who might have their own reasons for wanting the Republic's hand to be seen in. You know what I mean? Like the way I feel like that thing with NRI works is that like there's what the Republic knows. There's what NRI knows, and there's what NRI tells the Republic. You know.
Cool. Okay. Oh, God. Oh man, that's awesome. Sweet. So, let's have you do that then. When you deal with your agency, roll plus sharp. Oh,
I was just wondering if other people wanted to do investigative mysteries about it. You know, like if they wanted to investigate the traditional way. Or if we should just jump to that. I just don't want to take away, you know, like.
I think the hunt and what you hear from the agency could be two very
Okay.
different things. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I will. I'll do that. And I think the reason is because Bane did save his life, right? So he wants to know what's the real deal here, and why don't they want the Republic to know about it? Like, what's NRI's? What's the true scoop? So I roll with my agency plus sharp, I believe, which I'm not very good at. Should have said
-1
that.
sharp, yeah, that's true.
But I get an 8.
Good roll though.
Yeah, I get an 8. So I might get chewed out by my superiors and there'll be fallout, but I do get what I need for the job.
Wait, you get a 6.
No.
No, I do
saw
actually,
it.
because I've got modifier still added up there. Sorry.
Yeah. So
I
you get a
forgot to get rid of
6.
it.
Oh.
I get a 6. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'll live with the miss. It lets me mark experience finally. I really didn't want those droids to have to suffer any sort of things. It's like,
on a miss, you screwed up. You might be suspended under investigation or just in the doghouse. You certainly aren't going to get any help until you sort it out.
Well, if you want to play it as, you can tell me whatever lie. You know what I'm saying? Is that like NRI can tell me whatever they want. Maybe it's not the truth.
Yeah, let's give NRI a face. Do we have anyone defined?
No, because I kind of imagine it as like a sort of it's like one of those sort of, when you need me, you can call on me, and like vice versa. Like I'm not really with them anymore, but I'm also just like, you never really leave a life, right? Like, even if I'm disillusioned with the Republic, I still know that there's worse things out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you get a note back, audio only, from your contact that uses the pseudonym of Uncle. And Uncle tells you, you left those droids and didn't turn them in. We know what those droids had.
Well, then looks like I did you all a favor.
It does look like that to an insipid ex-member of the Bureau like you. You're so foolish.
I always love this family time, Uncle.
Well, Trazik, the moment you get me those droids is the moment that I'll get you the information that you, and I assure you, most definitely need.
Didn't take long for it to become about what I could do for you, did it? Is that how the Republic's going to be from now on? Huh?
I thought that's how this conversation began, Trazik.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time since Yavin, hasn't it?
Made a pledge, Trazik. The galaxy isn't safe yet. People like you can help us make it safe. But only if you continue to be valuable to us. You know too much to leave.
Listen, you ain't gonna help me. You ain't gonna find out what the thing is, then I guess our call's over.
I guess so. Just so you know, your Rhodian friend has made a lot of enemies. He's going to get you killed, Trazik.
Well, I look forward to the flowers.
Nice.
But I think as I say that, you know, when we hang up and like look at the screen for a second, goo slides into like past the door in the background, like the astromech.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go back to Jezreel and take one of those droids. That's horrible. But I do have an astromech with all this stuff loaded up on here.
It's true. It's certainly true. And here's the deal: like what you have right now, until the the codes are changed, you know exactly where the New Republic is in the Minos cluster. You just go access it from the astromech droid. You've got the readouts. You've got their ship movements. You've got their troop placements. All the communications in the Minos cluster, they're yours.
I think that's another like cut through as Kel begins to understand the depth of how much, you know, the Imperial Remnant could use this to completely dismantle the Republic here in the cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if this fell into the wrong hands, it's already in the wrong hands. If it fell into worse hands.
I mean, it's kind of what you say wrong is. Okay, cool. So the D022 and Zop, the three of you, after Kel snuck off for time in his bunk or something, you've got this heroic bounty hunter to find. What's the plan? Who wants to try to investigate a hunt, and how are you doing it?
Tutu is gonna watch the tape, so to speak. I'm picturing that there's like, guild reports of past bounties Bane has worked. Maybe there's video footage of him. Basically, just like research on everything I can learn about his habits, his style, his methods. Maybe that'll give us a clue to it. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't clue us into where he's at now, but at least when we find him, we'll have an idea of like, okay, what's he gonna probably try and do? How can we Tutu is like intimidating us. We got to figure out how to outsmart this guy.
Nice. So a few things that I'll give you without a roll. His most recent jobs, Tutu, have been, at least what's public knowledge or knowledge with searching, is that he has been hired to track down and apprehend inmates who escaped the spice mines of Kessel. And he's quite good, to the point where the mention of his name has been used to strike fear in the hearts of the inmates there. So you get that easy. No problem. Now you can investigate a hunt. Roll plus sharp.
That is a 10.
Nice. Okay. On investigate a hunt, 10 plus, you get to hold 2. Hold can be spent 1 for 1 to ask me questions.
Let's see. Well, let's go with what capability does it have?
From your research, you know that he is human. He has powered armor, which gives him increased strength, and he is heavily armed. So he generally works alone. And hey, he doesn't, he mostly like stuns and uses hand weapons. He's not the kind of person to toss around a bunch of thermal detonators, just like you saw in that marketplace. He is precise.
And what can make it vulnerable?
Ooh. So you're able to find on like Space Reddit, talking specifically about his time on the spice mines of Kessel, that evidently the rumor is that someone paid him not only in credits but in glitter stem. And there's a rumor that he's addicted to it, and then it's become a weakness for him.
Nice.
D0. What about you? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, this is a famous guy, you know. Lots of people have their eyes out for the great Bane Malar. So D0 is gonna look out for some spottings, maybe. You know, see where the most recent, what his most recent bounty was, where that was headed. If any, you know, if there are any like rumors of him.
What about if D0 has like the free droid network? You know, like droids who are like the Underground Railroad. Like
I go on to my droid IRC channel.
IRC.Kropotkin. I love it. Go ahead and give me a investigate a hunt, because there's a where did it go question in there that would be perfect for this.
And that is plus sharp.
But sharp.
Okay. Which is 1. That is 9.
Ooh. So you get one question if you want to spin that hold on where did it go.
Yeah.
The most recent. Good.
Yeah.
The most recent sightings that the network has for him is the forest planet of Yelsane. Yelsane is, if you look on the Minos cluster tab, it's a hop and a half from Adelon, where you guys are now. You'd have to head through the nexus point of Traven, but Yelsane is the last place that he was known to be. So I imagine you guys are all in the Wraith as you're doing a bit of research, checking on all the network and information. Kel, you finished your call. Zop.
Yeah. So before we, or do we get this job on the Wraith, or do we get it back when we were in the bar?
When you got back to the Wraith, there was the communication with the job. So.
Okay, so I think Zop is going to use this opportunity of us adding a hyperdrive. Sorry, not hyperdrive. Tractor beam to the Wraith.
Okay.
Zop agrees to, hey, I'll go negotiate. Doesn't tell Kel. Tells D0 or Tutu that he's going somewhere. Doesn't tell Kel, because if Kel finds out that Zop is wandering off again, Kel will probably shoot him. And so Zop meets this weapons merchant to buy the tractor beam, and Zop asks him if he has any Pula Blossom wine available, which is like code for the Tanwa clan. And I'm going to be hitting the underground. We have a well-connected sect. I'm trying to sort of gear up hold for using this hunt.
Sweet. Once for hunt, you can use them to establish communication with the sect. Roll plus charm.
Yeah. So I'm not very good at charm. There we go.
You're not very charming.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what I wanted. I got a miss. I get XP.
Oh, that's so good. That's
and I
so
get
good.
Bad info.
Yeah, you do. Sweet. So, yeah, on 7 to 9, you'd hold 1. What were you specifically looking for? Info on this particular hunter?
Yes, I think Zop is established with the guild for quite some time, and so Bane is somebody Zop knows very well. May have, if I had gotten 1, I may have even let Bane know that we were coming. Sorry, y'all. But so I think Zop is maybe trying to get that message out to Bane.
Okay,
it goes
fantastic.
Well. Yeah,
that worked. That's a good miscondition there. It's not,
but not in the way Zop wants it to. Yeah. Okay.
Sweet. So you make the trade. You talk with the Blossom Wine thing. Get a little quick message off to Bane, and your sect doesn't like. They give you some information. They're happy to hear that you took out Nakand, and yeah, they don't have any particulars, but if there's something that you need, you have a feeling, yeah, the sex got your back. It's a nice general rah-rah type deal. Nothing useful, but should be useful in the future is the feeling you get. You start to head back to where the Wraith is, again, totally stealing from your general Star Wars thing, right? The landing bay. Aderlon is a nice, beautiful, verdant place. So you're on the spaceport. And as you're headed back to your ship, you are shot in the back. Yeah. So you're shot in the back, and actually, yeah, you're stunned, right? So you're fall on the ground, and then you feel a foot nudge you over, and you see standing over you is none other than Senna Falkeen. And she says, "I should just murder you here, like you did my father. That would be fitting, don't you think?"
You are a child. You know nothing of this world.
Oh, you've taught me a great deal.
You murder me in the streets here, Senna. The Tanwa clan. You do not know that the lengths they would go to avenge my death. They would make death for you seem like the better option.
See if you can manipulate her to believe that.
So good with charm. It's been going so well so far. Hey, that's an 8.
Hey. So 7 and 9, they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show what you mean it. You ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it. Great. So
yeah, I'm trying to leverage the Tanwa clan thing because I know her father did something to take off the clan, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she must be aware of the abilities somehow.
Yeah.
There's so many shadowy conspiracies going on in this game. I love it.
So many. So many. She says, "You're right. You're too connected for me to just kill right now." She opens up her hand, and you see this little, like, it almost looks like a praying mantis droid. "But I have a plan. Do you force me to put in action?" And she reaches her hand to one of your, like, little, ears, and she pushes that thing, and you feel it start to wriggle down into your ear. "If you tell anyone on your crew about this, I'll know. I can hear everything you can hear, Zabu. And I'm not just going to kill you, because you were just the tip of the sword. The Tanwa clan will feel my vengeance." And then she kicks you really damn hard and walks off. And I think that's where we'll end our session. It's a little bit on the early, but we'll get to do some, like, post stuff. You guys are cool with that? Awesome. So let's do our end of session questions, and then we'll do a bit of feedback at the end. End of session. Did you conclude the current hunt? You did. You guys got Nakub and Nakand. Fantastic. So that'll be one yes. Did you save someone from certain death or worse?
Well, we cut off a guy's arm and then didn't let him bleed to death.
We saved G00.
I was totally, yeah. You saved
droids from
You
worse.
saved a lot of droids. Absolutely. That was the worst. Fantastic. I agree. Did you learn something new and important about the galaxy?
Ear crickets.
We learned about this, vast conspiracy against the New Republic.
Yup.
Yeah, we learned about that and the Tenwa clan's enemies and their resources.
Of which there are many.
Yes.
It seems.
Clearly. Yeah.
Cool. And that's great. Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? We learned everything about Tutu that we now know. But any other hunters that we learned some cool stuff about?
Kel's relationship with Uncle, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that. Awesome. So there's 2 XP for everyone across the board because of the end of session questions. So let's quickly go through. Not quickly. We got time. Let's do our post-game feedback. Love to do some stars and wishes. We start with wishes so that we can end with stars. Wishes are last session. So anything you're like, there was this thing that I bought in advance for and I absolutely wanted to come true, or I haven't got to use so-and-so move, or there's this particular plot point that I'm super excited about. Any of those, like just put it on the board. I take notes. I try my best to fulfill wishes if I can, like a low rent genie. That's me. If I can do it. So yeah. And then of course there are any particular critical feedback. You made the call of X and it would have been cooler if Y. I'm open to that too. So yeah, any critical feedback that you have to share, feel free. Let's go in reverse character keeper order. So John, you have to do the first wish or wishes.
I love the stories that I have gotten to join, and I'm whole bought into those. I want to find a way to maybe integrate Tutu into one of these storylines rather than like creating a whole new one, because I think there's plenty of interesting stuff happening. So I'm going to think on that and see if I can come up with anything, but if you have ideas, that'd be great too.
Oh yeah, like maybe you and Cinefalkeen are like buddies. I don't know. Like I don't know if that exactly ties you in, but it does tickle me, the idea that you think that she's kind of a foppish Tapani noble. I don't know, but yeah, let's think about that. I definitely want to integrate Tutu into some of the stuff. That's good. Thank you, John.
His dad could be one of his dad's patrons could have been the Lord Falkeen.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Lord Falkeen's dead.
He been murdered.
I killed him good.
He's super dead. He did not even fall down a shaft so that we could bring him back later. He was gutted. He is irrevocably dead. Cool. Let's keep thinking of that. John, I agree. I want Tutu to not be just a hanger on. I think he's really, really interesting, and integrating him into these bizarre and labyrinthine plots would be fun. Josh, what about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed today's session. Looking forward to next week's. I think that my wish for next week's session is that coming out of this these sessions, we managed to tie up a plot thread. We have a lot of stuff here. We've made a very intricate story, and I think I would be very satisfied if we managed to just pick up one of those and get a nice little knot at the end.
I agree. Yeah, that'll definitely need to happen. Try to tie some stuff up. That's a fair request. Thank you, Josh. Greg, what about you?
I'm wishing that Zop will survive at the end of all of this, because I want to play Zop again at some point.
I don't know if I can help you with that one.
Nearly didn't happen last time. I don't know. It's not necessarily fair to have a wish for someone else's character. I want to see D0 kick some ass.
Yeah.
D0 is built to to blow stuff up and cause some damage. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I want to see more of what Zop and Tutu, this relationship. I think it's great if we, Hearts of Wulin style complicate it with the father or with one of my kills. It doesn't even have to be Lord Falkeen. And then there might, I think, be the possibility of a showdown between Kel and Zop. They might, Kel and Zop have sort of had we keep the peace with each other. I'm interested if that ever goes from kind of a Cold War to a hot war, even for a little bit. That might be something fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
Go and do your part of the plan again. Let's see, I guess.
So true. So true. Awesome. Thank you for those. Those are good. Will, what about you? What wishes did you have?
So I wish that this session I just spent my luck with the agency rather than, I did enjoy the sort of tension, but it would have been simpler. And it was one of those, like, I had resource management head on because I'd just spent luck on my last roll. Rather than kind of like what would be interesting. And like part of me was like, it's too much red tape stacking up, but then, I should have just gone with it rather than like, because I'd be happy with Kel dying. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, why am I saving on to this luck, basically? But I'm not going to do the droid. My other wish is some way of like bringing in that NRI thing as like part of however we deal with other threads, like a kind of like the enemy of my enemy kind of thing, like it's in their interest as well as mine, even if we don't see eye to eye. And I don't know how that might work, but I'd be happy with that going like totally against the actual bounty, like putting us in the bad books with our because I feel like as a group we have a lot of like other interests, that take a priority over our dedication to the bounty itself. We're not the Mandalorian, effectively. We're the Mandalorian after he picks up the package. We're not the Mandalorian before he picks up the package. But yeah, those are my wishes.
Good. Because you went last with wishes, you could do it first with stars. What stars would you like to hand out, Will?
Well, firstly, I love all the bickering. I always love bickering between PCs. It's one of my favorite things. I loved D0 shocking Nelfie, just like I'm not having any of your shit. Just
so good.
And it was a great,
that was to me, that was the guy with crazy sword show off in Indiana Jones, and just like you're beneath me. That was so good.
Yeah, it was that big spiel of someone very charismatic, just like, oh, Zop, darling, like, let's do business, kind of just.
Loved it.
And I loved the touch of like Tutu's. I mean, I loved everything about Tutu's like gung ho kind of flashy attitude, but I did like the idea that when we get back, he's like in the papers because he's like a socialite bounty hunting, essentially. It
was really good.
My staff for Zop though is on the suggestion to, look at the droids, because I was just trying to set up this sort of like the bounty versus the idealism kind of thing. And then it was like, oh, there's a deeper level. And I loved how that tied. It was one of those serendipity moments because it literally just tied straight into John saying that, we need to go deeper on this kind of thing. And Rich, I love this. I love Star Wars. I love doing this. And I found, I thought the speeder chase and the whole flying and, separate sort of action-packed scene really felt like high-paced and frantic. I was imagining that A-Wing like slipping deeper into the sludge with the droid going as it goes. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that felt. That's one of the things I always worry about. So I'm glad to hear that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Will. Greg, what about you? What stars would you like to hand out?
Yeah, I love the whole where the droids ended up with D0 and the binary radical literature. I might like that more than Rhodian opera now. I love that that's out there. I want to take these liberated droids and use them in another game. And then Kel, I love the whole interaction with, we get this bounty, you're immediately like, you have been fighting up to this point, touching on that New Republic thing, and you're like, oh, this guy, no, I have to crawl back to Uncle and find out what's going on. And then Tutu's entrance is possibly the most Star Wars entrance for a character I've ever seen. He flies out of nowhere as a hot shot in his A-wing, gets a thermal detonator thrown into him, and immediately throws what was going to be a very carefully planned pincher movement into, oh, now we got to go save him, and now we have to go handle the speeders on our own. That was just, it was a great start to the session. Really just threw us right into the action. So thank you for that, Rich, as well. Just leaning hard into those hard moves on the sixes, on the 6 minuses. There were a few of those that were really hard moves at the. I loved it. It was great.
Good. I was waiting to see if I was going to get X-carded with the droid cricket, but I guess we're going to let that one go. I was like, if they could do it in Star Trek.
Yeah, no, I'm good with the droid cricket. I think Zop has used tech. He's really good at used tech. He might, I don't know, he might try something.
He might. That would be fun. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Greg. Josh, what about you? Any stars you want to hand out?
Yeah. Stars, I really love the characters that everyone is playing with here. John, you did not have the benefit of already having a session to base off of, and I really, really loved Tutu and the entrance and the way you played him and the whole session. So really, stars to you.
Awesome. And John, what about you? Any stars?
Stars for everyone. Thank you all for being, a great group to come in. It's always difficult jumping in midpoint, but y'all made it super easy. So thank you for that. Thank you, Rich, for running it and doing a great job with that. And then in terms of like story stuff, I really love the droid liberation movement and the droids that we dropped off at Gesseril. Is that how you say it? Yeah, I think that's such a cool thing that's out there now. And even if we don't see it in this game, I'd love to see a game that explores that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I like now have notes about this former prison planet with droids. That's super fly. Really enjoyed it. I'm sad there's only one session left. Hopefully we've got enough time and enough established to be able to jump straight into it. Yeah, we get to end a little bit early, friends. So thank you guys so much for your participation, and I look forward to bringing this to a close next week. And I'll stop the stream here.